What are you doing? It's daytime. But Alex, I am bored. All these nights, I suck in the blood, I come home, I do the same thing all the time. I want to do something different in the daytime. How you not frazzled up in the sunlight? You know this, I have the magic ring. Yeah, but I don't care. Get out of here before someone sees you. Yes, very clever. Hello and welcome to another video with myself, as always, Alex Connor from Fearless Training. And today, guys, I want to talk to you about goal settings, how to set them, how to achieve them, the differences, why they're actually good, why they're useful, and they actually are. And I know it can be a little bit of one of those like subjects, it might be a little bit taboo or overused, but they really do work. So I wanted to go over what's worked for me and perhaps help you achieve your goals as well. But first, we need some donuts. I've been craving some for a while. There's a new place in Southport. I was watching them through comp prep and man, it was one of the things on the top of my list. So I'm gonna work them into my macros today. So let's get over there and let's check them out. Alright guys, I've got the donuts, or the donut. My plan is to work my way through so I don't become a complete fat mess. D.10 donuts, check that out. Hopefully you guys can see, and it is focused and it's not blurry. D.10, got my reward card in there as well, thanks to Dean. They're owned by two brothers as well, so always getting behind people who are starting their own businesses and doing a good cause. Got myself a skim milk cappuccino as well, beautiful coffee. So shout out to the guys at D.10, thank you very much. I'll be definitely making this a regular thing. I've got a few more coffee places as well that I recommend, that a few of my friends doing, that I'll recommend to you guys as well if you're into good coffees like myself. Because yes, there's a lot of coffee places, but good ones can be few and far between. So, oh yeah, that's good. That's real good. So before I devour this donut, goal setting. So first of all, let me talk about why do you need goals. Really simple. I was one of those, you know, when people tell you, it's kind of like workouts, they say, you know, you should always track your workouts, you should always write what you're doing down because you're never going to remember what you did. And you're kind of like, well, I was, especially back in the day, you know, oh no, I'll remember, you know, I'll come in, I'll remember. And you just don't, because there's too much going on, there's too many factors, and you just don't remember your reps, your sets, your intensity. So goal setting's like tracking anything, whether it's your weight, whether it's your workouts, whether it's your sales targets, if you own a business, etc. And the goals are the same. If you don't have them, you are aimless. So even if you're not really goal driven and orientated, but I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you probably are, it's good to have something to aim at, because it's like having a, you know, throwing darts with no dartboard. Like, you have no sense of direction. You need kind of those aims so you can zone in on the bullseye, or the ultimate goal. And then you've got different types of goals as well, because at the end of the day, you should have some big goals, and some of them you need to break them down into smaller goals to be able to get there. So the first point that I wanted to make is that you need goals because they give you some sense of direction. They give you a sense of purpose. And what I've learned is having a sense of purpose and a sense of direction is something that can help you get up in the morning and actually want to get out there and achieve your goals. So that is point one. Point two is going to have to wait, because this donut is starting to stare at me and it's telling me to eat it. So guys, I'll see you at point 2 after I've had this beautiful cookies and cream donut. I'll let you know how it is. Cheers, guys. Ooh, lovely. Alright guys, welcome back. So, point 2 that I wanted to make to you guys is we've got different types of goals. So I talked to you about like why goals, or I thought why goals were important, like to have a bit of a sense of direction. By the way, the donut was fantastic. Shout out to D.10, that's gonna have to be a regular thing. I've been craving that for like, probably the 3rd of my comp prep. I came across those guys. Donuts, amazing. Anyway, back to it. So types of goals. So you've got your massive goals, right? You should have these big, or what they call hugs. Huge, unbelievably great goals. Birds, bit rude at the minute. I'm trying to film. Birds are singing. Not the best spot, but anyway, done it. So yeah, you want your big, massive goals, right? And then from there, you kind of want to reverse engineer them. You've probably heard this before. And you break them down into more smaller process or progress goals, okay? And the way you kind of want to do that is you want to have them, you've probably heard of the term SMART, right? So that's like, you know, they are specific, measurable, achievable, timely, accurate, all that sort of stuff. So you kind of want to have like time frames on them and some sort of countermeasures. But the main thing is like have some big goals, guys. And they say that if your goals are not big enough, or if they don't scare you, they're not big enough, and all this carry on. But I mean, at the end of the day, you've just got to set goals like what is it that you want to achieve, like in the biggest picture, what is it? And just write down maybe like 3 or 4 of them, and then from there kind of reverse engineer them and figure out what you've got to do to get there. Now it's up to you if you want to like write them down, or if you want to put them on your computer, or have like visualization boards, or have a combination of things. But the important thing is you are actually verbalizing write your goals down. This is the difference between making them happen and not. But again, it really depends, and it comes down to you as a person. Again, I'm guessing that if you're here, you're probably fairly ambitious and you want to learn how to goal set, or why it's important to have goals and you actually want to achieve them. A lot of people don't achieve their goals because they never actually actualize them. They're just sort of like dreams or fantasies that they have. But if you actually take the time to break them down and action them, this is the difference between actually achieving the goals and just sort of having them sort of, yeah, I kind of want to do this and I kind of want to do that. And that's the same with a lot of things like training and nutrition. That is the whole reason why we track it using systems, or we write it down and we use applications, because we can actually put it down and we can, if we can measure it, then we can manipulate it. And that's just the same with goals, and it goes for a lot of other things in life as well. Now, the last point I want to make is, how do you make your goals actually work? So obviously, you know, you've got to write them down and stuff, but what are some key fundamentals that actually make your goals come to life, okay? And these are a couple of things that I've learned, especially over the past sort of 12 months, that have really helped me actualize my goals, you know, with the comp preparation, etc., and some other business things. And look, I've still got a long way to go to reach a lot of my goals, but a lot of them have, or most of them that I've set, I've achieved, and now I've sort of set new ones, basically because I've put these systems into place and actually action them. So I want to share with you those things that I've actually done that have helped me, and hopefully you can implement it to help you in your lifestyle as well. So point 3, but before I do, I think there's something just there on the sort of, alright, that's better. Okay, the last point I wanted to make was how do you make these goals work? So how do you kind of, you know, you've written them down, you've identified them, but how do you actually make them work? Well, as I just mentioned, you've got to action these goals. So what I recommend you do is get something like a notebook like this, or you want to put them down on Excel or something where you can print them out and visually see them. You need to get physical with these goals. Like, it's not just good enough to kind of have them on a computer. You kind of almost want to print them out. You want to handwrite them. You want to hold yourself accountable. What I do with something like this is I actually write down like words of affirmations as well. So you can do like daily affirmations or daily kind of goals, if you like, and write them as if you've already achieved them. So this is something that's really helped with me. So for example, you can say, you know, I am someone who connects well and communicates well with others, or something like that. And if you read that every day, it becomes a reality. So they're more like the smaller goals. And then like the bigger goals, for example, I write down, I print them out. For me, I keep them somewhere in my bathroom. I've signed them as well, and I put a date on them. So you want sort of an end goal or a deadline or a lifeline, and you want to make sure you're self-checking along the way. So with these big goals, you use those smaller process goals, progress goals if you like, to be able to look back, whether it's week to week, month to month, every couple of months, and go, hey, am I actually achieving these goals? So what you want to do is you want to get your big goals, you want to set a time frame, and then again you want to reverse engineer them. And then you're going to break down what exactly you're going to do every month, every week, every day. So you break it down from this big massive goal all the way to these small bite-sized chunks. And you write down the actions that you need to take to actually achieve this goal by X day. So if it's a certain monetary value, you can reverse engineer it and see what you have to make every month, every week to get to this yearly goal, etc. Or it might be something like, you want to get X amount of new clients. You've got to break it down into smaller segments and find out what you have to do. And every day you do those daily actions and make sure that you're holding yourself accountable to achieve this goal. It might be, weight loss or weight gain. And again, you need to find out what those correct measurements are and then break them down and then make sure that you're adhering to those measurements. This is why it's good to have a good coach or something like a mentor as well, someone who can keep you accountable. It might be your partner if you're in a relationship, it might be a business partner or something like that. Let them know what your goals are as well. That way they can hold you accountable. You've got someone else there and you're more likely to actually succeed. So you tell them, hey, look, this is my goal, this is what I want to achieve, this is when I want to achieve it by. Do you mind holding me accountable? If it's a mentor, you might sit down and review it with them, on a week to week or a month to month basis. Just again, you're setting yourself up for success. So the main thing that helps you achieve goals is taking action, but also having a strategy and a plan in place to be able to achieve them. It's good if you write them down, and that's definitely one of the next best steps, albeit just in your head, but at the same time, you've got to make sure that you're taking action and make sure you're reviewing and holding yourself accountable. Otherwise, they will never happen. And at first it can be a little bit tough. But if you get into the habit and you just start with 1 or 2, and then you start with the smaller goals, and say for example you set like a 12-week goal, right? And then you smash that, and then you make a bigger goal and a bigger goal. But make sure that all your goals are written down, and then just pick them and work through them. And I guarantee if you follow those steps, like if you write them down and you hold yourself accountable, you reverse engineer them, and every day you take a little bit of action, which gets you one step closer to that goal, you will achieve it. Again, it's like how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, where you have like a lot of food, but if you break it down into smaller meals, eventually you'll be able to eat this big meal. So it's kind of the same with goals, really. At the end of the day, you've got this big goal and it seems so far away and so sometimes unachievable, but you've got to have that belief and that faith. And if you break it down into those smaller goals and those smaller wins, it all accumulates into that bigger goal, and before you know it, you look back and you've actually achieved it. And then you always want to be setting new goals. So that's the last point I want to make. Don't get complacent. If you achieve a goal and it's all good and well, and celebrate that win, definitely acknowledge it, but then set a new one. But also be happy. Don't always put happiness on the horizon and be going, oh, I'll be happy when I get that again. No, celebrate it. Be happy now. You'll perform better. That's great. But then just have something to aim at. Have something to look forward to always. And have different types of goals too. Make sure that it's not always just business driven. It might be, lifestyle or relationship or something like that. Training goals, break them down, there's financial goals. But just find out what's important to you. Make sure you set goals, make sure you write them down, and make sure you take action. So guys, I'm going to leave it there for this week. Thank you again for tuning in. If you liked the video, please like it, share, subscribe. It helps the channel grow. I really just want to get this good information out there and just give you information that has helped me, and better my life, so that in hope that you can use it to better yours as well. So guys, I'll be seeing you next week for another episode, as always. And in the meantime, you know what to do. Stay fearless.